All right, you guys, welcome back. I have decided, while I've been gone, to solve this factoring because I can already see it set up to factor. And actually, in fact, you guys, it already is a perfect square. It's going to be x minus 2 times x minus 2, because negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, and negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. So it already is the perfect square. And actually, I can solve it without solving it as a square because it's already equal to 0. There's no other number on the side. So that means I can use the zero product property. So I just need to figure out what number, x minus 2, what number does x need to be to subtract 2 from get 0? Obviously, you guys, x is equal to positive 2. And since both of them are the same answer, there's really only one place where they intersect, which means that this picture was the correct one. This line here that only crosses the parabola one time and not 2 times is the correct answer. Now, there is a point, we need a point. We have the x value, that point right there where they connect, where they intersect, where they touch. Our x is positive 2, but what is our y value, right? And how do we find that? My suggestion would be we take our x, that's positive 2, and we put it back into this equation here because this one seems like it's going to be, to me, the easiest one to solve. Okay, so if we rewrite this as y equals 2 times 2 instead of x minus 2, that's going to be obviously 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 2 is y is equal to 2. So it looks like where they connect over here is going to be 2 comma 2 in the first quadrant. But let's double check that with our calculator. Okay, and what I did is in my y equals, I put in our two equations, x squared minus 2x plus 2 and 2x minus 2. And I knew that my answer was in the first quadrant, so I knew just a zoom 6 would work. And it looks like that's about right, but I can always do second calc, and I want to find their intersection, so I'll go down to 5, enter, do I want this to be my first equation? Yes. Do I want this to be my second equation? Yes. Do I want to guess? Yes. And there we go. Our intersection is 2 comma 2. So I was able to check my answer that I got from factoring and solving, and that is where those two equations are equal to each other. Okay, last question, you guys, and then I want you to get some good night's sleep and a good breakfast tomorrow morning. John launches a toy rocket into the air. The rocket's height, d in feet, with respect to t in seconds, can be modeled by the quadratic equation below. Okay, so I know one thing from just looking at that equation. I know that my y-intercept is plus 58.8. So I'm just going to sketch this out. I'm going to make this 58.8. And I know that this is a negative parabola, right? And that makes sense because we have some rocket being launched from there, and it's going to go up, and then it's going to come back down and hit wherever that rocket is supposed to hit. So what is we have a couple of things we're looking for. What is the maximum height reached by the toy rocket? And when is the maximum height reached? So all I'm actually looking for is the vertex, because this will be my time, how many seconds it is. My x value will be how long it takes to reach that maximum height. And my y value here at that point, my y value will be how high it goes. So x is time here, and y, the x-axis anyway, in the actual equation it's t, and y is how high it goes. So you guys, the easiest thing to do is going to be complete the square in order to put it into vertex form. So instead of d of t, I'm going to rewrite it as 0 equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 19.6 t plus 58. And I'm going to subtract 58 from both sides. Okay, 58 So that is 0 minus 58 is negative 58. So I'm just going to use that as my point here. I just subtracted 58. And then on this side, I have negative 4.9t plus 19.6t. Okay. Here is the big question that may be, do I continue down this road or do I not? Because right now in front of the t, I have negative 4.9. And actually what I want to do is, in order to complete the square, I have to factor that out. So I'm going to see if 19.6 is divisible. Is 19.6 divisible by 4.9? Oh, perfect, you guys. And the one on the test will be perfect too, if you want to do it this way. So I want to, and we did this in that group quiz, I want to factor out negative 4.9 from here. That just leaves me as t plus, and I just did the math, t, and I kept dropping my square there, t squared plus, or minus rather, because I also factored out that negative minus 4t. Because negative 4.9 times negative 4 will give me positive 19.6, right? We just did the math for that. Now, look, this became pretty easy to complete the square, right? I have half of negative 4, which is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is I'm going to add 2, or 4. Half of negative 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Now, here's where stuff gets real, because I'm not, I was just trying to do, I want to erase a little bit of this over here so we have more room. I'm not just adding 4. I'm technically adding 4, but I'm adding it negative 4.9 times, right? So I'm not really adding 4. What I'm really doing is subtracting, where's my calculator? I'm subtracting, because negative 4.9, clear that, negative 4.9 times 4 is negative 19.6. Oh, you guys, I already knew that, duh. So what I'm actually doing is subtracting 19.6. So I have to subtract 19.6 from this side. Okay? So what do we have now? I have negative 4.9. And when I factor this, I get t minus 2 squared is equal to negative 19.6 minus 58, so that's just going to be negative, and then whatever those are added. Oops, whatever those are added up. So let's see, 19.6 and 58, negative 0.6 plus 58, and I know it's going to be negative, so 77.6, so negative 77.6. Okay? And look, that's my vertex form. I don't even have to worry about solving these ugly numbers. I want to put this negative 77.6 back on the other side, so I'll add 77.6 to both sides. Okay? And now this side is 0, which we're just going to call y, right? Y is equal to negative 4.9 parenthesis t minus 2 squared plus 77.6. So my vertex is 2, comma, 77.6. So what does that mean? That means after 2 seconds, my rocket will be 77.6 feet high. And that's going to be as high as it goes, right? So this xy here is actually 2, comma, 77.6. Now, you have to have all of the math here in order to get full points on this problem, but we can always just check with our calculator, right? So let's clear out what we put in there. let's put in negative, and that's gravity, right? Negative 4.9 t, but we just have x squared, plus 19.6, and I think that's how fast it's going. That's its velocity or its speed. 0.6x plus 58.8, and of course that's how high it is when it gets started. And I know I have to go up. I need to change my window, but I know my rocket, 10 seconds should be fine. I don't even have to start at -10 though. I can start at like -5 to get a better window. 10 seconds is fine. It'll probably hit the ground before that. My underground doesn't matter, but I know that my rocket goes up to at least 77, so I'm going to actually make this like, I don't know, 95, okay, and maybe count by 2s. All right, let's see what our graph looks like. Oops, somebody left a stat plot on. Let me go turn that off so we get a better one. Off. Okay, let's go back to our graph. There we go. Okay, so here, that looks pretty, that looks kind of like what I drew, right? And we can find the vertex, second calc. This is a maximum. Enter. Calculator asks me, go left. Okay, I'm left of the maximum. Hit enter. Go right of the maximum. Doesn't matter where. Enter. Guess. Enter. Oh, 2 and 78.4. Let's see why they got 78.4 and we got 77.6. Did I add some numbers wrong? I did 19.6 plus 58. Was that what I was supposed to do? 58.8. Look at us fixing our mistakes. If I did 19, how many of you guys caught that and were screaming at me? If I did 19.6 plus or negative 19.6 minus 58.8, and that's why we check things, and if you check on your test, you may catch an error like this. 19.6 plus 58.8, boom, 78.4. Okay, so that changes this. Oops. So I hope you're not just watching this and not listening, because that changes this to 78.4 and our actual answer here and here, everywhere where I had 77.6 because of that 0.8 error that I did, but I caught because I checked it, which is what you need to do on tests. It changes that whole answer to be, what was it again? That changes that whole answer to be 78.4. Okay, so I really, really, really hope you were watching it and not just listening to it. Cool. All right, like I said, good luck again, and I will see you when you take the test.